today we have a 2003 Porsche 911. This is going to be the non-twin turbo edition. It's just going to be the naturally aspirated 3.66 cylinder. This vehicle has been sitting in the garage for 3 years now, not running. So the customer pretty much just stated to us to change the fluids and to get it into proper running order and get it back alive here. So we're going to start with a couple things. We got one, the battery we're going to replace. 2, we're going to do the spark plugs. 3, we're going to do the oil change. Now on this one, it does not have a fuel filter. From 2002 plus, on the naturally aspirated models, they did not have inline fuel filters. It's going to be the sock inside of the actual tank. So there's no fuel filter replacement on this one. So we got the battery, the oil change, and the spark plugs. And we're going to go ahead and drain the gas tank too as well. So I'll show you a little trick to help you guys do that on your Porsche 911s. So to get started here with the battery, we got to take this cover off. It's just going to be these push clips. You simply turn half a turn, and this will pull out of the way. We'll go ahead and set this down here. Over here we have the negative side of the battery, which is a 10mm nut. Go ahead and remove that. This side, same deal, 10mm nut. You want to note this vent here, that is for the batteries on the Porsche. So the vent I'm going to unplug on this side. Go ahead and put up here. Guys, I just want to let you know this battery is brand new. It was replaced already yesterday. Just going to give you guys the quick replacement method on it. So we'll go ahead and grab a 13mm. So it'll be 10mm here, 10mm here to get these off. And then you'll have a bracket down on this side. It's a little metal bracket with a 13mm bolt holding it on. So we'll go ahead and stick this down here. Just to give you guys a better idea down here, there's the location of the hole. Here's the bracket that it goes down in there to hold the battery in place. So now we got the bracket removed and these post terminals. It's going to be ready to lift out. You'll see down here there's 4 bolts that are all going to be 13mm. We'll go ahead and remove those, and that should give us access to the fuel pump. Got to finesse this guy out a little bit. And there's our fuel pump assembly. Make sure you get all this debris and all these leaves out of here too as well. You don't want them clogging any drains. So now that we have access to the fuel pump underneath the hood, we're going to go ahead and open the door to the car. Come down here. We're going to go ahead and skip past this fuse panel and come up here to the relays. Up here on the relays, you're going to see a pink relay. And that pink relay is going to be your fuel pump relay. Get a good shot in there. You see the pink one? So we're going to go ahead and you'll see on the pink diagram, we're going to jump 30 and 87. So we'll go ahead and pull this out. Note which ones are 30 and 87. It's going to be, yep, 87 and 30. It's going to be in the dead center of the relay. One on the top, one on the bottom. So go ahead and grab our handy dandy jumper. Stick one in here, one down here. And what this is going to do is jump the relay, so when we turn the ignition on, it's going to send straight power to the fuel pump. And what that's going to do is it's going to pump out all of our old gas. So on here, we have to take the line off that provides all the fuel to the engine, which would be this one with the green clip down here. It's going to be our pressure line. So you can see, we'll go ahead and push the clip in against here and pull up. Simply comes right out. Go ahead and move this to the side. Just be very careful, they're very delicate lines. And now we'll go ahead and put a hose on here. I want to urge you guys to put a clamp on that line down there, because if that does come off, it'll just start spraying fuel everywhere, and we cannot let that happen. Go ahead and reconnect our ground side. Kick the pump on. Got gas coming out. It's pouring rather quickly. You want to make sure as soon as it stops pouring to turn off the power, because you don't want to burn up that pump. But we'll see how much gas is actually in this Porsche here. Gas is coming out, obviously it's diluted and it's old, but it's still coming out rather clean without contamination, which is a good sign. Alright, so we now have about 10 gallons of gas that came out of the car. So it's just 2 big 5-gallon jugs. Guess we got lucky here, it didn't hold any more. Alright, so now after you get the hose off of the fuel pump, you go ahead and click that line back in. You don't have to press anything, you just simply click it back on with the green connector. Then you lay down the battery panel here, the undercarriage for the battery. Remember, we got the 4 bolts, 13 millimeter. Make sure these are tight. Just want to give them a little extra turn. Make sure that gasket seals down there. Now we can come back in the car. Go ahead, remove our jumper here. All right, grab our fuel pump relay. Remember which direction it goes in. All right, plug that back in, and we're good in here. Now you can go ahead and come under here. Go ahead and attach this breather to the battery. Alright, go ahead and do negative. Go ahead and tighten those down, and we're good on the battery. So now we got the battery back in and the fuel tank drained. We're gonna go ahead and jack up the Porsche, get underneath here. I'm gonna go ahead and do the oil change. So got some jack stand here for safety. Got our truck jack over there so it's not falling. We got a drain plug here and our oil filter over here in the back. So we'll go ahead and start with an 8 millimeter Allen here and go ahead and break this loose. See what oil looks like after 3 years of sitting. No, it's not going to be gold, that's for sure. Alright. Definitely time for an oil change 3 years ago, so go ahead and get all this dirty oil out, get fresh Mobil 1 in there. Go ahead and tighten up, replace the crush washer. Go ahead and torque up our drain plug bolt here. We'll go ahead and spray brake clean in there and make sure there's no residual oil so we don't have an oil leak at the drain plug. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab your oil filter cap here. This one's specifically for this oil filter. Go ahead and break it loose. Alright, once you got it loose by hand, you'll go ahead and remove it the rest of the way. We'll go ahead and replace the O-ring on here. Very simply, just stick a pick in there, pull the O-ring out, lubricate the new one, put the new O-ring on. Go ahead and stick the new filter back up there where you pull the old one out. Then we'll go ahead and tighten this one back down. Go ahead and just butt it up there by hand. Alright, it's done. Now once the drain plug is torqued and you have this housing torqued, you want to come under here and you want to make sure that the oil filter O-ring did not pinch. By pinch, meaning you would see it sticking out right here, and that would be an indication that it did not seat properly and that it will leak. So you just want to give this a quick inspection once it's torqued down and tight and make sure you don't see any O-rings sticking out of this seal. So we are good here, it is tight. Like I said, I'm going to take brake clean and spray this and spray the housing, make sure there's no residual. Looks to be like we have some access down here to get these spark plugs out. I know it's a lot easier than the turbo model. So we have a 10 millimeter here for this shield, and we also have a 10 millimeter in there, right underneath the muffler. So one of the good tools here we have is we can use this long extended 10 millimeter, go up in between the exhaust, and get a hang on it right here. And just like this, be able to remove that 10 millimeter bolt. So we'll get both of these bolts down. This one's nice and easy. So you're gonna have, let's see here, a 5 millimeter Allen head, and that's gonna take out the bolts for each ignition coil. You got 2 of them, each are diagonal. When it comes to the connector on the top, you're gonna have this little cover, this little plastic cover over it. What you do is just squeeze through the cover and then pull up. And then I'll undo the connector for the ignition coil. Then you can wiggle the coil out. Pull the easiest coil out of the way so we can gain some access to get back here where we have our other coils going down. Go ahead and remove this connector. Just push into the tab here. This little spring clip, push in and pull out, and that'll take the connector out of the way so you can get some more room over here. I'm going to start taking all these coil packs out so we can get more access in there so we can pull these plugs out.